On this episode of Warehouse Safety Tips, we're going to discuss sliding, falling, tripping, and slipping in the workplace. So stay tuned. Welcome to Warehouse Safety Tips. You can find the show notes to each episode, links to information mentioned on the podcast, the social media platforms we're on, and anything else related to the podcast at warehousesafetytips.com. If you're a seasoned podcast listener, this podcast is going to be different from most you listen to. It's based exactly around what the name implies, warehouse safety tips. And since the people in that industry are busy, we know that time is money and each episode will be as short and to the point as possible. And now that all that is out of the way, let's get to the podcast. The first portion of this podcast covers something that's usually within your control, and that's hazards. Think of these as the hazards you as a visitor, employee, and or management can spot as a potential or current issue and can usually be identified pretty easily. These include, but are not limited to, pallets in the way of walk or vehicle paths, pallets regardless of where they are that are damaged and aren't fit to hold product or could injure someone, staff walking in places that they shouldn't be, items laying around your facility that should be picked up, put away, or thrown away, staff not using proper harnesses when working in areas that require it, and all of these can be remedied with two things. First, the proper safety markings, safety tape, angles, or signs that indicate caution areas, and at the same time, make sure that there's a place for everything and everything in its place. And second, staff paying attention to and following these safety markings. As discussed in our first podcast, following the 5S methodology can prevent a lot of potential issues just by being proactive. Before continuing on with our podcast, here's a word from one of our sponsors. If you've ever been to or worked in a warehouse, you know just how important safety is to both management and staff. It's almost impossible to go 10 steps without seeing safety tape, angles, signs, and or products. And in the case of this episode, absorbent mats, anti-slip floor tape, and custom safety signs could just be the items needed to stay safe. It's these items that show us how to be safe and avoid danger in the workplace. And if you're looking for the best products to make this happen, look no further than Mighty Line. Mighty Line floor signs and floor markings offer the best industrial products out there. Go to mightylinetape.com/safety tips to request a sample pack of their incredible safety signs and floor markings. What makes Mighty Line the superior choice in keeping your facility safe and productive? Mighty Line tape is the strongest floor tape on the market and has a beveled edge that increases durability for industrial brush scrubbers, forklifts, and heavy industrial wheel traffic. Mighty Line's peel and stick backing allows easy installation and removal. You can apply and reapply it during installation and it leaves no sticky residue should you need to remove it. This allows the ability to change workflow areas quickly and easily and not have the downtime that's associated with painting or using floor markings that leave behind a mess when you remove them. Mighty Line tape is 7 times thicker than the average safety floor tape. Mighty Line signs and markings come in a variety of shapes, colors, and sizes, and if we don't have what you're looking for in stock, there's a good chance we can customize it and allow you to find exactly what you're looking for. Mighty Line offers a limited 3-year warranty on their floor signs and markings. And last but certainly not least, Mighty Line's products are patented and proudly made in the USA. We're proud to have Mighty Line as the official floor sign and floor marking company for the Warehouse Safety Tips podcast and site. Again, go to mightylinetape.com/safety tips to request a sample pack of their incredible safety signs and floor markings. Now, back to the podcast. When speaking about hazards in the first portion of this podcast, we said that they're usually in your control. We said usually because sometimes they aren't. Case in point, the second portion of our podcast, situations where water, slush, ice, snow, oil, lubricants, and or any other situation that can cause surfaces to become slick come into play. As important as keeping pallets and items cleared from areas where they don't belong, it's equally important to keep the areas inside and outside of your facility dry and or slip free. At the time of this podcast, it's winter in Ohio. Here in our state, winter comes with a lot of different forms. Sometimes with dry weather, sometimes with snow, but many times somewhere in between. To maintain safety, your facility has to be prepared for all situations. The following are just a few ways to avoid these scenarios. As simple as it might sound, keeping areas dry is the first step. This can be done via regular mopping or squeegeeing an area to make sure that they're dry, running fans or heaters, and or just having absorbent mats at the entrances of troubled areas. Having staff report areas that are wet or have hazards is yet another simple step. Maintenance can't address what they don't know about. This can be accomplished with the maintenance of the outdoors via shoveling and or putting down ice melt wherever snow or ice is an issue, training staff to stomp their feet and or wipe them on mats to avoid dragging wet snow and ice is very vital. Putting down wet floor signs to alert staff that areas have slick surfaces. Make sure that your staff is wearing the proper protective and slip-resistant footwear to guard against falls. Slick surfaces aren't just caused by the weather. Here are some other situations that you need to be aware of. Machines and equipment in your facility can leak oil and or lubricants. It's very important to avoid leaks and spills while filling these liquids. These sort of situations may require special cleanup procedures and equipment such as spill pads, socks, or absorbent mats. Putting out signs on the floor or creating permanent signs that indicate special attention to the area might need to be displayed. Again, special footwear may need to be worn. And last but not least, making maintenance aware of these situations is extremely important. Again, maintenance cannot address something that they don't know about. Now, if you visit warehousesafetytips.com, you'll find the show notes for this episode. Thank you for listening to episode 4 of Warehouse Safety Tips, and have a safe day.